This is lesson 2 in module 2, and this is going from taking percents and turning them to fractions and turning them in percents. So, on this side, we're taking percents to go to fractions. Write each percent as a fraction in simplest form. So if we look at this number right here, we have 75%. Percents are out of 100, so we're going to take 75, and we're going to write it over 100. Yes, this is a fraction, however, we have to simplify it. And I know that 25 can go into 75 3 times. We have to do the same thing on the bottom, and 25 can go into 100 4 times. So that is our simplified fraction. Our next one is 38%. So we're going to do 38 over 100. Both of these numbers are even, so I know I can simplify by 2. 38 divided by 2 is 19. 100 divided by 2 is 50. Next one, 55% is 55 over 100. I know 5 can go on the top and 5 can go on the bottom. So I have 11 over 20. 90% is 90 over 100. And I want to show you a trick on this one. When there's a 0 at the top and a 0 at the bottom, you can cross them out. Since there's 1 0 here and 1 0 here, I can only cross 1 0 off. That one has to stay the same. That represents dividing by 10. So we get 9 tenths. This one down here is 50%. So 50 over 100, which is 1/2. If you want to show the work, you can divide by 50 on top and bottom. Okay, that's percents to fractions. Over here, we're going to go fractions to percents. So this one is probably the hardest one on here. You have 9/12, and you're trying to make the bottom number be 100. I cannot make 12 to be 100, but if I simplify this down, I get 3/4. I can turn 4 into 100 by multiplying by 25. So I have 75 over 100, so that is 75%. We try to get 100 on the bottom because percents are out of 100. This next one is way more straightforward. To make 10 be 100, I'm going to multiply by 10. If I multiply by 10 on bottom, I'm going to multiply by 10 on top. So I get 20. With 20 over 100 is 20%. Now this last one down here is 1/5. To make 5 be 100, I'm going to multiply by 20. And I'm going to do the same thing on top. So I get 20. 20 over 100 is 20%. Okay, let's flip the page over. And we have our check understanding. Okay, so we're on check understanding. We're going to go percents to fractions. So 14%, to write as a fraction, we're going to write it over 100 because percents are out of 100. These are both even numbers, so we're going to divide by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 100 divided by 2 is 50. So we get 7/50. This one we have 59%. So 59 over 100. And we can't simplify that, so that is our answer. And our last one on this side, 98% is 98 over 100. Both even numbers, so we're going to divide by 2. 98 divided by 2 is 49. And 100 divided by 2 is 50. So I have 49 over 50. Now on this side, we're going to take the fraction, we're going to turn it into percent. Remember, percents are out of 100, so we're going to try to make that bottom number into 100. On the first one, I know 20 times 5 is 100. If I multiply by 5 on bottom, I do the same thing on the top. So 9 times 5 is 45. So that is 45% because we're over 100. Okay, if I look at this one right off the bat, 15 out of 30, that would be half. And if you want to be all fancy, you can multiply this by 50. But I think a lot of you know that a half is 50%. So some of you may automatically look at a half and know that it's 50. And that is perfectly fine. On this one, I can't turn 8 to be 100. But if I simplify it and scale it down, I get 3/4. I can make 4 be 100. by multiplying by 25. So 3 times 25 is 75. And since it's over 100, it's 75%. Okay, onward to what do you remember? We're going to change this percent to a fraction. To do that, we're going to take the number and we're going to put it over 100. I'm going to divide by 4 on top and bottom. If you start with 2, because they're even numbers, you'll have to do 2 again. 36 divided by 4 is 9, and 100 divided by 4 is 25. 75%, to turn it to a fraction, we're going to write it over 100. And if I think quarters, I can divide by 25. 75 divided by 25 is 3, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. Now, I threw this last one in because it's a little bit different. It's probably the hardest one you have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this percent into a just normal decimal. So I'm going to move the decimal 2 times to the left. So I get 0.125. The 5 is in the thousandths place. So I have 125 over 1,000. And now I'm going to simplify that by dividing by 125. If you start with dividing by 5 or 25, you'll just have to go down more. So we get 1/8 here. But this one is a hard one. Over here, we're going to take these numbers and we're going to turn them into percents. 25, I can make that into 100 by multiplying by 4. So I'm going to do the same thing on top. So 9 times 4 is 36. 25 times 4 is 100. 36 over 100, that means it's 36%. This one, I can't turn 60 directly into 100, so I'm going to have to scale it down and then make it be there. So I know 15 can go into 15 and 15 can go into 60. So that's 1/4. Now I can change 4 into 100 by multiplying by 25. So 25 over 100, because it's over 100, our percent is 25%. And our last one, if we look at 6/12, I know that's half. And from the problem up here, half is 50%. That's something that you need to make sure that you're trying to memorize. If you still need to do this part and multiply it by 50, that's fine. But a half is one of those numbers that you should know. A half is 0.5 and 50%.